that I remember.
Okay.
So now what I was telling you that, within 20 hours on
Stuff.
Zoom, when most of you, there's over 20 people who are listed in the
I don't know. People
in
drop, you
the
know,
yeah, in
as
the
if
WhatsApp group, but I don't know how many are following. But anyway, it
no,
is very
maybe
difficult
10.
for people not to be present and
Right.
just join the recordings. Anyway, I tried my best.
So you
Uh,
mean like Znavot is like uncompleted ends or stuff like
yes,
that?
yes, something like that.
How
Something
do you
like
say, Nadine? There's a word for that. Like, things that are incomplete,
yeah.
but not tails. You don't call it tail.
Yes, this is the exact
Yeah.
translation from Hebrew. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
bits and pieces. But anyway, there is much, much, much more than what we have
Right, I'm
been,
sure.
been through to know and to study. And I'll try first of all to go through two things that we didn't go through yet, and
Okay.
then we will continue. The first thing that I wanted to go through is sorry, I'll have to just a minute. Get back to there. Okay, it's something called tamar buta. Have you
Hmm.
ever seen such a thing, tamar buta?
I thought that you spoke about it last class with
Yes.
Nadine, right?
Well,
Yeah.
tamar buta is this is the way it looks. It looks like
Right.
a hay. First of
Right.
all, it comes only in the end of a word.
At the end.
Okay,
Right.
that's first. Second, it is usually a sign that the word is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever
Okay.
you see a word that ends in ta marbuta, most probably it is feminine. Okay. Now
Okay.
we have two ways since we already studied the hay. That's what you told me. I forgot. It was a long time ago.
Yes.
We studied the hay. There are two ways to write the hay at the end of a word.
Mm-hmm.
It's either connected or not connected. Now, this is the way this is the way when it is not connected, okay? It looks like a zero, but it looks like a hay, but the difference between it and the hay is that it has got two dots on top,
Right.
okay? Two dots
Mm-hmm.
on top, that's the ta marbuta. Now, when it is connected, it looks like a hay at the end of a word when it is connected, and looks like a flag. That's the way I look at it. And of course, it has two dots on top. Okay, ta marbuta is always at the end of a word, and it always looks like a hay, and it always got two dots on top. Okay,
Okay.
now when 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 there is no vowel on top of it, okay, we just disregard it. Like to read this word is kura, and
Yeah.
we don't care if there is a ta marbuta. The ta marbuta is to be seen and not to be pronounced if they
Mm-hmm.
don't have any vowel on top of it or under it or whatever. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
So what is the purpose of it, really, if you
yeah,
don't
well, like I told you, first of all, it's a sign of a feminine. Like
feminine?
let's
Okay.
say we have the word tilmid, which is student, okay,
Right.
or pupil.
Yeah.
Okay, when I want to say a girl student, I say tilmida.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
and
we
I
do.
add the ta marbuta at the end of tilmid, and
Yeah.
I transform the word from masculine tilmid to feminine tilmida.
It's
Okay.
the same like in Hebrew. In Hebrew, is the same thing. Talmid,
Yes.
talmidah.
Very
Yeah.
good. Yes.
Yeah.
But it looks more like Hebrew. We'll go into it. Like, let's say muallim, okay, which is a teacher. Muallima is a lady teacher, okay.
Yeah.
Talib, which is a student, like in university. Taliba, okay. So what's the purpose? First of all, to change from masculine to feminine, Okay.
Got it.
Now,
Okay.
there are some words that end with that regardless, like the word kura, which means a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is no masculine ball and feminine ball.
Right. Yeah.
It is always feminine. And when you have it, it's a part of the basic letters of the word. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yes.
all right. Now, why do we need that? We'll get into that in a minute. Okay. So we gathered that if we have it at the end of a word. It's a sign of a feminine. Okay. And it looks like a hey. It's got two dots on top. Okay. And if it doesn't have a vowel, we disregard it. Okay. Like we have Kora and we have madrasa. Okay. But if we do have a vowel, then we should pronounce it as a ta. It is a ta marbuta. Marbuta is tied, is a tied up ta. Okay, like it is ta in potential, but it's not a real ta. Okay, so let's have this word, which is madrasa, which means school. Okay, I can say if I have a vowel of fatha on top of the ta, then I read it as madrasata.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a kasra on the bottom of the vowel of kasra, I read it as madrasati. If I have a dhamma, then it's madrasatu. Now, many people ask me, what is the right way to say madrasa? Madrasata, madrasati, madrasatu. Okay. A lot of people don't understand how come we can change the ending of a word. Okay. Now, which one is right? Madrasata, madrasati, or madrasatu? What do you think, Yossi?
I
Which one
think
is right?
they're all right. Madrasati is
Very
not
good.
my,
Very good.
my,
Excellent.
it's not my
All of
school.
them are right. All
Right.
of them are right. Now, which?
Madrasati is my school, and madrasata is your school.
No.
It's not like this.
We'll get to that. Okay.
Okay.
Just madrasa, which means school, not my
Yes.
school, your school, or whatever. It
Uh-huh.
could be written as madrasata. It couldn't be written as madrasati, and could be written as madrasatu. Okay. The three
Okay.
of them are right. Now, which one to use? Which one to choose? It depends on the function of the word in the sentence.
Got it.
And now we're talking grammar.
Can you give an example?
This is a word that I didn't want to include in our classes because there we are going to a big sea of knowledge that that is really you cannot do in so many hours. Okay, this is needs much more. Now I just wanted you to know, first of all, if you don't see a vowel on top of it, you just disregard it. Okay, and you see a vowel on top of it, you read it as a regular ta. Okay.
Yeah.
Now there is also something else, a magic with the ta. Once you add another letter at the end of a word that finishes with ta marbuta,
Mm-hmm.
there's a metamorphosis and it changes into a regular ta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now you see here, madrasa is the word, and when I say my school, I say madrasati. And you see that like this ta here is a regular ta, but it looked like a hey here. Now here it looks like a regular ta.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it doesn't matter what letter you add at the end of the word, and it doesn't matter why. Okay, whatever is the reason, you change it into a regular ta, like madrasati is my school, madrasatuka is your school. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Now we'll see here another example. Muallima. Muallima is teacher. Okay? And you see here it is got a ta, marbuta at the end of a word, and it looks like a hey with two dots. Now once I say my teacher, then it's muallimati. And this ta, which was marbuta, it becomes a regular ta. Okay?
It always changes to ta. Yeah.
Always changes
to ta.
Always changes. Like I took the word kura, which means a ball. Kurati. Okay. Now also it looks exactly like Hebrew.
Yes.
Okay. When you
Okay.
say mora,
Yeah.
it ends with the hey.
Mm-hmm.
Morati. Okay. The hey changes into ta.
Mm-hmm.
Nadine, how is your Hebrew, by the way? I cannot hear
You're
you.
muted. You're muted.
It's non-existent.
Not exist.
Very
I think
bad.
you're only trying to be, I forgot the word. You don't want to brag, but I'm sure that you
Yeah.
know much more. Well, anyway, you have the same thing
Yeah.
in Hebrew when you want to change from masculine to feminine, like more, mora, telmid, telmida, okay, and so on. When a word can have two different genders, then you add a hey at the end in Hebrew, and here we add a ta marbuta. Okay, and once we add another word for some reason or another, then this ta marbuta becomes a regular ta. Okay.
Good. Yeah. Clear.
Now this is the first thing that I wanted you to like, this is something new. First, I wanted to give you the new things that you should learn. Okay. Now the second thing I wanted you to learn is the question of tanween. Tanween is something which is not really like 100% necessary, but they use it the whole time because it sounds nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. When you say how to say welcome, as Yossi, how do you say welcome? Ahlan wa sahlan.
Ahlan wa sahlan. See.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you see the words ahlan, it finishes with a noon, and sahlan also with a noon. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'll write it to you later on and see how it is written. Anyway, this is a matter of how to add a noon at the end of a word to make it sound nicer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can have tanween bil fatha, we can have tanween bil kasra, we can have tanween bil dhamma. Okay. Let's say I'm saying they have madrasatan, madrasatin, madrasatun. All the three of them,
Mm-hmm.
they sound better than madrasata, madrasati, madrasatu, madrasatan, madrasatin, madrasatun. Now I want to show you a short video now. Okay, now sometimes sometimes instead of saying tanween bil fatha or tanween bil kasra, they say fathatain. Fatha twice, two fathas. And in one, I told you, like, you have
Yeah.
for every word you have a word in double. Okay, so fathatain is got two fatha, and kasratain is got two kasra, and dhammatain is two dhamm. Okay, now let's see here. Is putting in a word. So far he has written na, right? Now this is known, this is ain, and na'i. Okay, now I'll continue.
I don't know where you are. We don't see your highlight.
Do you see the video?
No, it's
no.
still the
Oh, I'm sorry.
video.
I'm sorry.
word.
I'm sorry.
It's still, you have to unshare first.
Yes, I have to. Sometimes I'm.
Nadine, don't get drunk on me here.
Just a minute.
It's only water, don't worry.
Okay. Now you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's na'i. This is known. Okay.
Yeah. Ain.
Ayin and ya.
Yeah.
Now he's going to add Mim,
Mem.
right? Na'im, okay? And then he would like to make it na'iman, okay? Now, there is something, I don't want to, to go too much into the grammar, but when it is tanween bil fatha, man, okay, you have to add an alif, okay? We'll see what happens when it's kasra or dhamma. Okay, so you see it's a fatha, it's a double fatha, okay? And it is called o fathatain or tanween bil fatha, okay? All right, now this is the way to write na'iman, okay? Let's continue. Now he write another word. Sorry. Okay. So this is the way he wrote na'iman, okay? Now, what if we want to say na'imin?
Na'imin. So
You see?
kasra. Yeah.
When it is tanween bil kasra, you don't need to put a ya. Okay, only when tanween bil fatha, when it is fathatain, you need to have an alif. And the tanween is with an alif. When it is with the kasra, you don't need the ya or whatever. You just put it on the last consonant. Okay. Now, if I want to say na'imun, now this is the way the fatha, بالتنوين بالفتحة is like double fatha, two slanted short lines on the top. Okay, when we have tanween bil kasra, it's two kasras, one on top of the other. Okay, but when we do the dhamma, it looks something like that. I call it a mosquito. It looks like a mosquito. Okay, now this is the way, by the way, this is the way it is printed. When you write it, it looks a bit different, but I don't want to go into that. Let's say that you just, I want you to recognize. Okay. Nadine, I don't see that you are with us.
She's writing notes.
I'm taking notes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go back. We have the tanween bil fatha, which needs an alif, and it's two lines, two fathot, one on top of the other. Then tanween bil kasra, we don't need an alif or ya or anything. We just, for the last letter, we give it two kasrot, two lines, one on top of the other, under the last letter. And then when you have tanween bil dhamma or dhammatain, it's something like as if they join two dhamma together, and it looks like a mosquito. Okay.
So how would you pronounce that word again?
Na'imun. When it is like as if you have a dhamma, okay, yeah. And you add an a mute n at the end, na'imun, okay, or na'iman, or na'imin. You just like you instead of two fatha, you think you should read it as if it got just one fatha and the mute n at the end. You understand? Like a nun bisukun. Okay, na'iman, na'imin, na'imun. Okay. Now let's see another word. Now, you see, try to read this word.
Wait, this is a two because it's hidden by the pictures, our pictures. So.
Okay, I'll move you from here. Now you're okay.
No, if you make it a little smaller, maybe.
You're okay now.
What is it? It's sheen.
Yes, the first letter is sheen. And
She.
you've got the kasra. Now, you remember this letter?
This was.
This is the letter that the most troublesome letter in in the Arabic language. It's a hey. Hey, ha, ha.
Ah, this is a hey. Ah,
Yeah,
yeah,
it looks
okay.
like a
Whoa. Yeah, it looks like a bow. So it's she, hi, hi, nu.
no, this is an alif. She, ha, she, ha.
Nu.
Now what is this letter?
This is a bet.
Very good. And what does
Bet.
it got on top of it?
Shihabun.
Shihabun.
Shihabun. Yeah.
Shihabun.
Shihabun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Shihabun, by the way, is a falling star.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
Shihabun. This is the way you should
Shihabun.
read. Okay. I said, like, instead of the double dhamma, you think it's just one dhamma, shihabu,
Yeah.
and add a
And
silent
noon.
tone at the end. So is it shihabun? Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Let's see
Yeah.
another word. Now it's showing us it's she.
She.
That's the ha. Then the alif, which makes it longer. She ha. And the b. And you have
Same thing.
the tanween بالضمة or
Yeah.
double dhamma on top. So it's shihabun.
Shihabun.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now
Yes.
maybe we'll have another word now. Okay. Now we had tanween بالضمة. And if you remember the last letter ba,
Yeah.
we didn't add to it anything. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what I said before? When we are going, when we're having tanween bil fatha, we have to add an alif.
Right.
Okay.
Shihab.
Now, Nadine, please try to read this.
Yeah.
Shihaban.
Very good.
Yeah.
Shihaban. Okay. If you remember Shihabun, when we had Shihabun, it looked like that. Okay, we didn't add anything to the ba. Now Shihaban, we had to add an alif. Okay. Now let's see how we going to read the next possibility. Okay, this is Shihaban. Now this is the way Yossi.
This is Shihabin.
Very good. Okay.
Yes.
So these are the three possibilities. Now, if you ask me which one is right, my answer will be the three of them are right.
Right.
You can end a letter with any vowel, okay? And it has to be a specific vowel for the specific function of the word in a sentence, okay? Each function, you can either have it with fatha, dhamma, or kasra, okay?
Yes.
Let's continue. This is Shihaban, Shihabin, and Shihabin again. Okay, this is another word. Nadine, try to read it.
Havanun. No, Hadanan. Yeah.
Hazanan.
Zanan.
Hazanan. Okay, which means with sorrow. Okay, Hazanan. Hazin is sad, with sadness. Okay. That's the way you write it. Haza. Then, and you remember when it is tanween bil fatha, you need an alif. Now this is, try Yossi to read this.
Haza.
What is this letter? What is this letter? What is this letter? The first letter.
The first one is shin.
No,
Sin.
shin has got
Sin.
3 dots. Sin. Okay.
Sin.
Okay.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Bun.
Very good.
Sarabun.
Sarabun.
Sarabun. Sarabun.
Sarabun has an alif. Okay.
Yeah.
Sarabun. Sarab. I'm not sure. There's a word in English when, like, you are in the desert and you start seeing things like
Fata
Hallucinate.
Morgana. Hallucination. Yeah.
like
Hallucinating.
hallucinations, but there's, I think, another word for that. But anyway, like you think you are seeing something that isn't there.
Mirage. Mirage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Nadeem.
Okay.
Okay, so this is Sarabun. Now let's see how it's written. It's Sarah, and then you add an alif to make it a double vowel. Sarah. Bun. Okay.
Yes.
This is Saraban. We can see it is on top, so it is Fatha, double Fatha. Tanween bil Fatha, Fathatain. You need an alif. Okay. And the way it's written, Sarah. This is Sarabin. For Tanween bil Kasra, you don't need to add a ya or anything like this. Now let's Nadine try to read this word.
Ashimun.
No. Shin is longer. Now this
I'm
is
sorry. The curves. Azimun.
no, just a minute. What is this letter? The first letter?
Oh.
The second letter, sorry.
So the.
No, the does not connect. It's not a the, it's a tha. Okay.
Sorry. The pronunciation.
Okay.
So.
You make another mistake, I will not let you in the next class. Okay. Okay. So it's a tha, and it's got a kasra on the bottom, and it's got a ya to make it even double vowel. So try to read that so far.
Athimun.
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 Okay, athimun is, by the way, is guilty. Okay.
Guilty.
Somebody guilty of a crime. Okay.
Athimun.
And this is the way I write it. They write the A. Tha with kasra, athi. Yeah, to make it a double vowel. Athi. Athimun. Okay. Now this is the way to write. Yossi?
Yeah. Athiman. Athiman.
Very good. Okay, we know that now. Okay, Nadine, you're working double hard because there are only 2 of you. Okay, read this. What is the first letter? What is the first letter?
Sorry, sa.
Sa. Okay, not sa. Sa.
Yeah. Sa. So saw. Lehun.
Li.
Salih.
So salihun.
Hun.
Hun.
Salihun.
Okay.
Yahun.
Salihun.
Salihun.
You know, it's a name, Saleh. I don't know if you
Salih. Yeah.
heard it before. Okay, Salihun is okay. Something that's okay to use it. Something like that. You know, like complete. Salihun. Okay. Way to write it. Sad, alif, sa. Li. Now this is, you see,
Salih. Han. Salihan.
Salihan. Very good. Okay, this was Salihun. Salihan. Okay, next have another word. Nadine, try to read.
Wahi.
Let's see how it continue. Wahi.
Wahidan.
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 Okay, when it's double vowel, give it the honor of making it down. Wahidan, which is like lonely. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now this is Yossi.
Wahidun.
Very good.
Wahidun.
And Nadine, this is
Wahidan.
Din.
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 Wahidin. Okay.
Wahidin.
Okay. All right. Now this is, I want to touch something. I'm afraid to go too deep into it because it is too much time consuming. We are used to this sign. Okay. You see what I'm the blue sign on top.
Yeah.
Remember what is the name of that?
Khamsa.
Hamza.
Hamza.
Okay. Now we are used to see it on top of the alif, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now it is on top of the alif usually, or on the bottom of the alif if it's a e, when it's in the beginning of a word. Okay.
Right.
Now, in the middle of a word, sometimes you need to say a, which is fine. Sometimes you need to say e. Now, how do you put an e? If you put an alif, it's usually an a. Anyway, I'm trying to make it simple. Okay. Now, this hamza is a very naughty kind of letter. It cannot stay alone. It has to have a chair. Really, that's the name of kiseh in Hebrew we say. It needs a chair. Okay, kursi. Okay, kursi in Arabic. Now, if it's an alif, it's not a problem because the chair is an alif. Okay, but if it's not an alif, it's a kasra. So we put it on a chair of a ya. But it's not a real ya. Why? You see, try to read, this is qa, okay, qa with the double vowel. Okay, now the third letter here is a hamza, and it is sitting on something that looks like ba, ta, tha, nun, ya, right? The 5 letters which look alike at the beginning of a letter of a word. But it doesn't have any dots. You see, it doesn't have any dots.
Right.
And we call it, this is a chair of a ya. Kursi ya. Okay? So when you have to pronounce this sound, a, in the middle of a word, and it is not an a, it's an e or an u, it needs a chair. Okay. Now I'm just going to mention that, but I don't want to, we don't have really time to go deep into that. Okay. But you see sometimes something that looks like a ya or a batata, it should be a ya, but it doesn't have any dots, and it is used by the hamza as a chair. Okay. Only at the end of a word, the hamza doesn't need a chair. Okay. Believe me. Okay, so
How would
do
you
I,
read this?
sorry?
How would you read this?
Okay, you tell me.
I don't know. I'm still a little bit confused about whether it's an
Now,
ah sound or an e sound.
what do you have here?
You have a kasra, which is the
Okay,
e.
so what do you think? And it's a chair of a kasra, so what do you think it will
I'm guessing it's
sound
an
like?
e
Very
sound.
good. A very
Okay,
good guess. Very good guess.
So
Now try to read this whole word.
ka ilun,
Ilun.
ka ilun.
Ilun. Now we have two things to know here. First of all, lun, which you read it very good, and then you have the hamza here, which is sitting on a chair, but it doesn't. It's not a ya. It's just a chair of a ya, and it has. You go when it's a chair of a ya, it's always kasra. No, sometimes we'll have a chair of a waw, and it's always dhamma. Still, these are the things that to learn, like if we had much more time. So but we are limited, so this is qa'ilun. Okay, now we'll see. Okay, qa'ilun again.
Yeah.
Now we'll see something that's interesting, and I hope you will remember what is it about. Okay, now do you remember this? It is not a letter. The last thing here is not a letter. It is two letters put together, glued together. Okay. It took two letters just to make life more interesting.
Yeah.
Instead of writing each letter by itself, they glued them together, and it looks like as if one letter. It is not one letter. There are two letters. Okay. Now, these two letters are lam and alif.
Right.
In that sequence, lam and alif. Okay, it's never, people sometimes get confused and think that's alif lam. It's lam and then alif. Okay, now it's got, since there are two letters, this side, the first side, okay, is the lam. Okay, this is the lam. The other side, this is the alif. Now, these are completely, they are completely independent two letters, and each letter can have its own vowel. Is now not connected to each other. They just glued together, but each one must have its own vowels. Okay. Sometimes, like if we read this so far, it's qa'i. Okay. Now, the here we have a lam, and here they didn't do all the work because the lam has got a fatha. You don't see it here. Okay, lam has got a fatha, and then after the lam you have an alif, because with tanween bil fatha or fathatain. Okay, which mean to add a noon. Okay, so how do we read this? Let's say that this first part of this double letter is a lam with a fatha.
Okay.
Nadine, can you try to read this now?
Ka'ilan.
Very good.
Ka'ilan.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. So, like, this is the lam, it's got a fatha. Okay, fine. And then we want to make it into tanween bil fatha. So we have to add an alif. But since there is something together, lam and alif, by the way, it's not a choice. when you have lam and alif, you have to write it this way. You cannot write a lam and then an alif. Okay?
Right.
They just glued together. When you have a lam and then an alif, they have to be glued together. Okay? So
Yeah.
the alif here doesn't make a double vowel of the fatha of the lam. It isn't. It is there because you need an alif when you have a tanween bil fatha. Okay? So it's not qailan. No, it's qailan. Okay? So the lam is just a simple vowel of fatha, and then the double vowel, sorry, the double fatha, you just add a silent note. So it's qailan. Okay? I'll show it to you later in other words. Okay? See what happens? You know, try. I told you you can use virtual keyboard. I think I wrote it to it. Just write gate, Gate, to home. You can write two with like number two, home, Home, and you choose the Arabic keyboard. Now, what happens? Let's say you see what happens here. So far, we typed. Okay, we push the qa, alif, and then there's a special knob for this kind of alif with the on the kiseh hamza, sorry, hamza on the kiseh of ya. You have something specific for that on your keyboard. Most keyboards have it. Okay, and then you just type the L, the lam, and once you need an alif, it's automatically changes from this way to that way. Okay, something like magic. Okay, you see the L in a specific manner, and then once you add the alif, suddenly it becomes in that shape. Okay, I really recommend that you try, to use, maybe the word that I gave you in the other documents in the past. You try to type them, and you see what happens when you are typing. Okay, so this is قائلا. Now this is Yossi.
Kailin.
قائلين, exactly, and doesn't need anything. You only need an alif when it is okay. In Nadine, try to read this one.
Uh, Wadudun?
Yes.
Wadudu.
Read it all together.
Wadudun?
No. Now you have a double vowel on the first
Right.
line.
Wadudun?
Wadudun. Yeah. Like wadudun is like friendly. Okay. Wadudun. Okay. Okay. Let's see what happens. Now, Yossi, what if I would write wadudan? What should I add after the dan?
Then
If I'm going to say wadudan, you remember when we have it double fatha, fathatain,
yes,
okay? We need an alif,
right.
okay? So if
Yeah.
I'm writing wadudan, I have to add an alif.
An alif.
Maybe we'll have it here, let's see. Okay. Now it's a bit covered. This is wadudan. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And if I want wadudin, you can see here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like now, let's here have another one. Okay. Can you see a video now?
Yes.
Okay. Now, over here. Okay. Now you see, it's the same thing, more or less. Okay. You see here, تنوين بالفتحة, تنوين بالضمة, تنوين بالكسرة. Okay. You see, this is the way of تنوين بالضمة. I'll just go through it quickly. And this is the way تنوين بالكسرة. You just كسرتين. Okay. Okay. What she says here is when you have like تنوين like تنوين بالكسرة, you see rin, it's as if you're writing ra بالكسرة and then nun with sukun. Okay. Dun is as if you have a dal بالضمة and then a nun بالسكون. Of course you don't do that. Ban is da بالفتحة and then nun. Okay. You see like here this ra بالكسرة, but if you add a tanween بالكسرة, this is the way it should be. It should be written double kasra and you read it as rin, dal, with the tanween بالضمة. Then it's as if this is the way it's written, and it's like dhamma and then nun with sukun. Ban, you just forget about the alif. The alif here is a necessity because of the double fatha. Okay. Okay, so it is like you forget about the alif. It's ba in fatha and nun in sukun. Okay. Now it's explaining again like the three different. It's always only at the end, by at the end of a word, never in the middle. Okay, and just like I said, it's for just for aesthetics purposes. This is a fatha, this is dhamma, and this is the kasra. Now I want to show you. Okay, let's go back. Now I want to share screen again. Okay. Now let's see how I'm writing ahlan wa sahlan. Okay. So far I wrote ahla, right? Now I want to write, remember what I told you, and now I'm going to add another alif. See what happens? It changed into a different shape. Okay. Now I want to make it ahlan. Okay. That's the way it looks like. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Okay. Ahlan.
Mhm.
Now, if I want to write أهلا وسهلا, it's wa. So far وسهلا, and I want to make it into double fatha. أهلا وسهلا. This is the way to write أهلا وسهلا. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, I can go in another matter. I don't have to say أهلا وسهلا. I can just say أهلا وسهلا, and it's still okay. But like people are used to use this tanween because it sounds nicer. That's
Mhm.
all. You know, it isn't like a real grammar necessity. Okay, like you have words like أيضا. Okay, like many words that you have that are you are used to hear it in that manner. Okay. Now, there is something else I wanted to show you, which is new. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Now, there is something. I'll throw, no, I'll go with the text. Okay. There are some words. There is like, it's not a trick, but there is something very unusual with the alif. Okay. Now, sometimes there is an alif that is hidden. You don't see it, but it is there and you should pronounce it. And sometimes there is an alif that it is there, but you don't pronounce it. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. There's word, you know what's hada? Hada means this. Hadihi is this for feminine. Okay. Like this boy, هذا الولد أو هذه البنت. Okay. Now this is the way we write هذا. Try to read this. It looks like هذا, right? But there is an alif after the hey, and you are not supposed to write it. You are supposed to know that it is there. This happens with هذا, هذه, ذلك, هكذا. There are some words that you don't see an alif, but you have to use it as an alif. Okay, this this should have been, you know, in lesson number 25. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you write هذه? Okay, this is the way you write هذه. Okay, and although there is no alif, you are supposed to read an alif. Okay. Okay. Now we'll go to something else. I promised you there are alifs that are not there, but you have to read them. And then I promised there are alifs that are there and you're not supposed to read them. Like Nirot Hanukkah, just to. Okay. Now, when we conjugate a verb and we're talking about they, okay, whom, okay, the pronouns as ana, anta, you, anti, you for feminine, huwa is he, hiya is she, nahnu is we, antum is they, and whom, sorry, antum is you in plural, and whom are they in plural. Okay. Now, when we conjugate for whom, as I write whom, Let's say we want to say they win. The so far so good, right? Try to read this what I wrote so far, Yossi.
Whom da daha bu.
Hum dahabu. But
Whom
just to
dahabu.
make life interesting, you add an alif. Okay? You don't say dahabu wa. Okay? Now, why do you need this alif? To make sure that you understand that it's in plural. Okay? So when you conjugate a verb, ana, anta, anti, and so on and so forth, when you get to hum, which is they, then you add an alif at the end without, you don't have to read it. Now, there are other things like that which are very peculiar. The alif that is not there and you have to read it, and the alif that's there and you're not supposed to read it. We have a few more things very peculiar things, but I want just to stick with that. Okay. Now let me try to do something else now. Okay. Go back. You wouldn't believe what you're going to do right now. You're going to read a story.
Yeah. Can you move it a little bit to the left? Because our pictures hide the beginning of the
No,
writing.
I put your picture away. You know what? I'm hiding it. Can you see now? Is that okay?
No, no. Maybe I'll try to move it. I'll move it to the other side. Okay, now I can.
You can? Now it's okay?
Yes. Yeah, I moved the pictures to the side.
Now I make it now as big as possible. Now, if you remember how to read this, Nadine?
Hala.
Very good. You remember that in this word, there is an alif after the hay, but it is not, you cannot see it. Okay?
Right.
Now, sometimes in like if you are reading it in a book, there is a line that goes from top to bottom, a small line on top, to give you, to let you know that you're talking about a hidden alif, like a line on top. Not always, it's not always there, but like if what they want to spoil you, they'll give you a hint. Okay. Okay. Now try to read. Continue. Hada.
Beiti.
Very good. Hada beiti, which means
it's not baiti. It's not bai.
Beiti.
Baiti.
What do you think it means, Nadine? Hada beiti.
This is my house.
Yes, very good. Now this ya here is kinyan, is possession. When you say beiti, this is my house. Okay. All right. Now continue.
Beiti.
Ba. It's ba.
Un.
Slowly. What is the first letter?
Wow.
A wow.
And got a fatha and then an alif to make it double vowel.
Wa.
Wa. Now this letter is
Sin. So
is a
is a
C.
sin.
Okay.
So
Wa si.
si. Un.
Very good. Excellent. Now the whole letter, the whole word.
Wasi'un.
Wasi'un. Very good. Very good. Wasi'un is big, like wide, spacious. Okay, wasi'un. Continue. Now this word, this letter wa, I think you've seen it before. Like here, it's this wa is part of the word. Okay, it's wasi'un, but this wa really means and.
And
Okay, like in Hebrew, ze, veze, veze. Okay, v. Okay,
Yes.
so here is wa. It's like connecting this word and the other word. Now continue.
uh, ja- Jamilun,
Very good. Again.
Jamilun,
No, no, this is double vowel. Don't forget.
Jamilun.
Very good. Now read it from the beginning.
هذا بيتي.
Yes.
بيتي واسع وجميل جميل.
Music to my ears. Wonderful.
So
Wow.
is that my house is
Spacious.
big, spacious, and beautiful?
Very
Pretty?
good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now you
Yeah.
see what we learned today. There are words with the hidden aleph, and you did very well with the tanween here and tanween there. Okay, Yossi, you
Yeah.
have a more difficult job
I
to do.
can see that.
Well, I know for ladies,
It's okay.
I have to
That's
go
how we
soft on
learn.
ladies. Okay.
We learn from difficult words. We learn. It's
No, I told you I have to spoil the ladies, but you have to work hard.
I know she worked hard the whole
Yes.
semester.
Okay, now try to read this word, which is a little.
Amta li lu.
No, now this you read very well. This is a lam, but this is a letter. It's just
This is a ka.
very good. Now try to read all.
Amta li ku. Amta li ku.
Very good. Now this is a single vowel. Okay, it's not antaliku, but
Amtaliku.
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 You have any idea what that means?
No clue.
I own.
I own.
Yeah,
Okay.
I own or I have. Okay, in this amtaliku. Now.
Yeah. Ur fa urfan. Urfa.
Okay,
An.
okay, now I have to tell you something.
Yeah.
I told you that when you have a tanween bil fatha, you see a double fatha here,
Yeah.
you have to add an alif.
Right.
I didn't say unless it's a ta marbuta. Okay? You can't expect life to be so easy. Okay. So
Okay.
try to read this.
So, urfan.
No, so far. Ghurfa.
Urfa.
Now,
An.
I told you the ta marbuta at the end of a word, you just disregard it unless there is a vowel. And if there's a vowel, you read it as a regular ta. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay. When I
Urfa.
had madrasata, madrasati, madrasatu, remember?
Yeah. I
Now
remember.
here is a vowel, but with a tanween on top of it.
Urfatan.
Very good. Not
Urfatan.
ghurfatan, but ghurfatan.
Urfatan.
Okay. This is like it's got a fatha and a silent noon afterwards. So it's ghurfatan. Okay. Try to read that one. We already know the principle.
Jamil Lan. Jamil.
Do the same thing you did for the last word.
Exactly. You so far you read Jamila, which is okay. Okay. Now we have a ta marbuta that we should know.
Jamilatan.
Very good. Very, very good. Very good. Very good. I'm very happy. Jamilatan. Okay, not Jamilatan. Jamilatan. Okay. The
Jamilatan.
same thing that we did with ghurfatan. Okay. When it is at the end of the word, you have a ta with a vowel, any kind of vowel, we have to read it as a regular ta. Okay, أمتلك غرفة جميلة, which means I own a beautiful room. غرفة is a room. جميلة, continue.
Biba, Biba, Bibati, Bibati.
What about the ya here? Just a minute, I'll add something. Okay, now read it.
Bibaiti.
Very good. ببيتي, which means,
In my house.
okay, now read the whole of
Okay. Imta, Amtali, Amtaliku.
Very good. Amtaliku, which means I own or I have. Amtaliku.
Ufa, Ufatan,
Ghurfatan, very good.
Ufatan, Jamil, Jamilatan, Jamilatan,
Jamilatan,
Jamilatan, B, Biba, B, Biba, Bibai, Bibai, T, Bibaiti.
Bibaiti. I
Bibaiti.
don't want to ask you to read it again.
Yeah, I know it's tough, but at least I'm getting to read the words. It's okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Very good, very good. No, this is first time we're reading sentences. So far we read only words. Okay, Nadine.
Hold on. So can you translate that whole sentence?
Yes, Amtaliku, which means I own or I have. Okay, I own. غرفة جميلة. غرفة is a room. Jamilatan is beautiful. Bibaiti, in my house. Okay. Usually in English we have I have a beautiful room. In Arabic you say first the word and then the adjective.
So I have beautiful rooms in my house.
One room.
One room.
It's not. If I was going to say rooms is غرف, not غرفة. Okay. So أمتلك غرفة جميلة ببيتي. I own or I have a beautiful room in my house. Okay. Nadine.
Tahtawi.
Again, the whole word.
Tahtawi.
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 Tahtawi means it includes. Now, is it time I tell you something else? I think I mentioned it before. Have you seen this letter before?
What is it called? The something, isn't it?
Now, the difference between it and the ya is that it doesn't have any dots.
No dots, yeah.
Now, this is something that is also tricky. It's called alif maqsura.
Right.
Alif maqsura, which means a shortened alif. Okay, a shortened alif. Now, it only comes also at the end of a word, never in the middle, always only at the end of a word. it always has to have the letter before it has to have a fatha. Has to have a fatha. If it's not a fatha, you cannot have it. Okay. Now, usually it's used in names like Musa, Isa, Layla. Okay, at the end of a word, of a name, if it's an A, they prefer to have it in Alif Maqsoor. Okay, now here is it's not a name. Try to read this, Nadine.
Allah?
Ala, very good. Okay. Now you remember what happened here. Let's say in this word ghurfa, let's say it doesn't have a double fatha on top. So we just disregard the ta at all. Remember, we call it just ghurfa. But what I told you that if it has another word at the end, if I want to say ghurfati, okay, then this ta becomes a regular ta. Like, okay, now what happens here with alif maqsura, which is a shortened alif, it looks like a ya, but it doesn't have a dot. Dots in the bottom. But if I add another letter to it, it changes into a regular ya.
Mm.
Let's say I want to say alayka or alayhi on top of him or on top of you. Then this would change into a regular ya. Okay? Isn't life interesting?
Yeah.
It has this kind of metamorphosis. It sounds like an alif. It looks like a ya with no dots, but it can be changed into regular ya once for any reason I'm adding another letter to it.
Oh,
So,
I thought English was too
English
complicated.
is one of the easiest languages there
are
is.
you kidding?
Really? English is
Now,
very easy.
I'll tell you the rules. First of all, it's always at the end of a word. Second, always the letter before the alif maqsura, it has to be a fatha. It has to be a fatha. And third, you use it usually in names. Okay? All right. But once you use it and you have, for any reason, you add another letter to it, then it becomes a ya. Okay? I hope you remember all that. I'll send you the
Yeah.
video and
I mean,
listen to it 10 times.
it's
Okay.
practice, right? It's practice and vocabulary and
Yeah, but these are like basics in
grammar.
like
Oded, is
it's not
Oded,
only the letters. That's what I wanted you to
Oded,
understand. Like,
is there any group of videos that you recommend from YouTube for us to follow up
well,
with after the class?
listen, almost I've been
So many
through
of them.
listen, I've been through so many videos in the YouTube. Most of them they are teachings in Arabic. Very few have teachings for English-speaking people, and mostly the teachers are, they're not nice. They're ultra Muslims like that, and they teach things from the Quran. What I would recommend, if you go to, I didn't want you to buy a book because I didn't know whether we can buy the same book, but I'm sure, I'm definite there must be books. If you want, I will try to find some. But if you go to a big bookstore and ask him, teach Arabic or English, based on English, and you go through it, I think you'll get a lot of things that we didn't get through, and you can really improve your art.
You know where you can get a good book, I think? If you live near a college, go to the college bookstore.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can even go to Amazon and try to
Yeah.
find like books, and go and I'm sure that many bookstores big bookstores have this kind, like teach languages, and since you are in the States, then it's based on English, so that
We don't
should
have we don't have bookstores left. They all closed. Barnes and
really.
Noble, the stores closed mostly.
We
You know
have
what?
here in
You know what?
Florida.
You do?
Listen,
You do?
listen,
In
listen.
Florida, we have.
Listen. May I suggest something? Go go to what I wanted to say. Um, Go to like a university or something like that. Huh, no. I remember. Go to a public bookstore, public library, sorry, a big
Mhm.
public library, and ask the librarian if he has a book, and look into it, and you find it useful, order it from.
That's a good idea.
This is what,
Mhm.
and what else I'm telling you, and I'm telling everybody else in the group that are not here with us, luckily. I'm here, and you can ask me whatever you like. I hope that I'm keeping this WhatsApp group alive. I
Okay.
hope it does, Anna doesn't mind. I mean,
Oh,
she's the manager of the group, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm there for you. And if you want to ask anything, you can write me a message. We can even do a video, WhatsApp call or whatever. Okay, I'll whatever you need, I'll be.
thank you.
Okay. Now let's go back. So you read this word was, read it again.
تحتوي.
Very good, which means contains. It contains.
Okay.
Now we're talking about this room. Okay, it contains, and you read this very good, which is,
على.
yeah, okay. Now continue.
نافذ. دين. دين. نافذين.
Yeah.
No.
Ida.
Wait,
What am I going to do with you?
hold on.
Ida.
Say again. Listen. This ta marbuta at the end, I said you don't have you can disregard it, but unless it has a vowel, and here we have the vowel, not only the vowel,
Yeah.
it's a vowel بالتنوين,
Wow.
كسرتين. Now try to read it again.
Oh, so it becomes the 10. Okay, so nafid nafidatin. Teen.
Nafidatin.
Yeah. Okay, read it again.
Nafidatin.
نافذة.
Nafidatin.
Okay, try, when you have a double vowel, give it the
Yeah.
respect it needs. You have nafidatin. That's what. Nafidatin, do you have an idea what that means? Window.
Window. Okay.
So it contains تحتوي على نافذة. It means it contains a window. Okay.
Okay.
Now I have to add something here.
Two. Nati.
Now read it.
Tusillu.
Very good. تطل. تطل.
Dillu.
تطل, which means overlooking. تطل, overlooking. Now this word again.
Ala.
Yeah.
Hadikaten.
Teen.
Teen.
Okay,
Teen.
now read it.
Hadikaten. Kateen.
Again.
Hadikaten. Katin.
Very good. Now, without stopping, read
Okay.
it
Hadikatin.
more quickly.
Hadikatin.
Very good. Now,
Okay.
hadiqatin, which means garden.
Garden. Okay. Okay. Beiti.
Yeah. Well, there's a.
Oh,
No. It's wrong, and I'm going to. Yeah, Beiti.
Beiti.
Okay. Now it is not. We should not. Okay. I don't want to bother you with that. Okay.
So the whole sentence, it has, it
Whole
has,
sentence.
it
Okay.
has a window overlooking the garden.
Yes, the garden of my house. Try to read the whole of the
Okay.
sentence.
تحتوي على remember how to say it.
No.
No, the dot is on the top.
Na
Fi,
I have to sound it out. Nafidatin.
very good. Nafidatin. You remember the meaning?
That was the
Windows.
windows.
Window. Yeah.
Window.
Okay.
To tillu.
Tuqillu.
That's overlooking, right?
Overlooking.
Overlooking. Ala. Hadikatin. Yichtin. I don't know why I struggle with that word so much. Hadikatin. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Beiti.
Okay. Now there is a mistake here in grammar that I don't expect you to understand, but it should be hadiqati bayti, not hadiqatin bayti. Okay?
Okay.
Never mind. Okay. Now, all right. Now, Yossi.
Yeah. Okay. Bab.
What
Bab.
bab? No.
Beiti.
Bab.
Baiti.
Very
Again.
good. Bayti.
Baiti again. Then Biju.
No. Got a kasra the jim.
Biji.
BG.
Biji Wow. Wara. Bijiwara. Bijiwara.
Bijiwa.
Ra. Ri. Bijiwari.
Yeah,
Bijiwari.
very good. Bijiwari. Okay,
What's that?
Bijiwari. I
Bijiwari.
I tell you something. If you read, each letter at a time with its vowel, you'll get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't stop near the end and say, okay, I know the word. No, you have just to continue one letter at a time. Okay. Now,
Okay.
just a minute. I'll make it easier for you. Okay.
Almas Jidi.
Very good. On the whole word?
Al-Majidi.
No.
Al-Majidi.
Almas. This is the recessive.
Almas Jidi.
Very good. You know what?
Jidi.
Al-Masjidi. You know what that means?
Masjidi.
It means mosque. Mosque.
Oh, wow.
Masjidi.
Oh, Al-Masjidi. Okay. This is also with Fatha. Yeah. Aldi.
Okay, you read it right. Another interesting thing,
Mm-hmm.
you read it LD, but it should be read as الذي.
Aladi.
الذي. Maybe I
Okay.
make it easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
Now we cannot see. I'll make it smaller.
I see. Yeah. You have. Okay.
I'll make it smaller. Now you can see it.
Yeah.
So
Aladi.
الذي.
Aladi. Aladi.
الذي. Okay.
Aladi. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
The
Now here is.
as
I'll make it a little smaller as well.
aso li asoli
Now what is this?
usoli
Oh,
sali
I'll add something here as well.
usali.
أصلي.
Yeah. Sali
أصلي means I
to
pray.
pray. To pray. Yeah.
أصلي.
Sali. Yeah.
أصلي. Double
Yeah.
bar.
Usali. Fi fi yi fim.
Now, what is this word? What is this letter?
This is mem.
No,
Aha.
it's a ha. It's a ha.
Hey.
It's connected at the end of a word. Okay. Now, a ha is a letter that you should read. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So try to read
Fa
word.
fa fahia.
No. Sorry. There's okay, now try to read it.
Fia. Fiha.
Fi,
Ah,
he,
fihi.
he,
Fihi.
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 Fihi means there or inside it. Okay. We have here.
Fihi.
Let's start from the beginning. Beiti bijawari. Bijawari means is next to.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the jiran or jar. I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember this. We had it sometime before. Bijiwari is next to or adjacent to. Al masjidi, we said that is the mosque.
Mosque, yeah.
الذي that usalli fihi, that I pray inside it. Okay,
Inside. Uh-huh.
I pray with it. Okay,
Okay.
now I write it like a bit more. Okay, I'll put it smaller. Sorry.
Okay. Al alsa so also
That was so. Why not a?
al alsa
Alpha.
alsa la
Is this a long la or a single vowel or a double vowel? Sorry.
double
Very good. So make it double.
alsa
Alsa.
alsa la
This should be a double vowel. Salah. Salah.
alsa la.
Now what are you going to do with this? This is a ta marbuta at the end of a letter.
Yeah.
And it's not connected because the last letter before it was an alif. Okay. Now are you going to read this or not?
Yes, it has a vowel.
Very good. Excellent. Now try to read it.
Ha alsalaha alsalaha
No, because it got two dots. It's ta marbuta. It's not hey.
As
It's ta.
salata.
Very good. Al salata.
Al salata.
Al salata, which means a prayer.
Al salata. It's
Al
prayer.
salata. Okay. So
Mhm.
I go back. When the ta marbuta is, of course, always at the end of a word. If it does not have any vowel, we disregard it. If it has a vowel, we have to read it as a regular ta. And if we continue with another letter after it, then it has to transform into a regular ta. I know I'm giving you a lot of material,
No, it's okay.
but I don't have any choice.
We will keep reviewing. We cannot.
I hope so. I hope so. Now,
Yeah.
try this.
This is ma'a.
Ma'a. Ma'a
Ma.
means with. With. Okay?
Wind.
With. With.
With.
Along
With.
with. Yeah.
Ma. With. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and this is wa wa li di walidi walidi.
No. Try. When it's a double vowel, give it the double way, you know. Walidi.
Walidi
Walidi.
walidi.
Very good. Which means
Well,
my
kids, yeah.
father. My father.
My father is Wali. Oh, wow.
Walidi. Waladi is my son
Right.
or my boy. Okay. Walidi is my father.
Okay.
By the way, my mother is walidati. Now,
Walidati.
you know, like this is a nice way. Like if I want to ask how is your father, I wouldn't say كيف صحة أبوك. It's not nice to say to call your father أبوك. It's much more respectful. You say كيف صحة الوالد أو والدك. Okay, walid means the person who gave you life, something like that. Okay.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the sentence. بيتي بجوار المسجد. My house is next to the mosque.
The
الذي
where I
أصلي فيه, that where I pray.
pray.
الصلاة مع والدي. I
Pilot.
pray the prayer with my father.
Oh,
Okay.
very nice. Oh, thank
Nadine,
you.
you're okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I guess so.
Okay.
War, God. Gorfati, Gorfati,
Very good.
E.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Do you know what that means, by the way?
No.
We had it here.
Hmm?
Oh, what was that? Was it overlooking?
No.
No.
Ghurfati is my room.
My room. Okay. That's
Okay.
right.
Now I'll show you something. Before it became my room, it looked like that.
Right.
This is the way it looked. Ghurfa
Right.
is room. Okay. And if I wanted to make it my room, so remember, I'm adding something to the word. So, you know, I want to try something. No, it doesn't work. I have to erase the ta marbuta and instead write a regular ta
And the
and a ya. Okay?
right. Because
All right? Now you've seen it like in action. Okay? The word, a word in with the ta marbuta. Once I want to add another thing, another letter to that word, then the ta marbuta becomes a regular ta. Okay?
Mhm.
All right. Continue. غرفتي is my room.
غرفتي. بيحة. بيحة.
Why is it a ha? What's wrong with the ha?
Sorry. Well, it's, I mean, you know, English is my first language. Ha is ha. I have to, you know, I have to work
Just
at.
like, you know, like ha is when you say he, who,
Right.
whom. You have the ha in English, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm sure you're both tired, but let's continue.
Okay. Biha.
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 No, it's
Biha.
not biha. You know, this is a short vowel, but it's not. It has to be e. It's
Right.
biha.
Biha.
Biha. Okay. Biha. It means a bit,
In-
it has or it's inside it. Inside it. غرفتي, in my room. My room has inside it. Okay.
Sariri.
Yes. Which means, do you have any idea?
Is that a mirror?
No.
No.
Not almost.
I don't know.
No, it's my bed. Sarir is bed.
Okay.
Sariri is my bed. Okay.
Sariri. Wa.
Now this is like when you say and. This is not
Right.
a part of the second
Right.
the second word. Wa
Maktabi. Maktabi.
maktabi.
Maktabi.
Sariri wa maktabi. Maktabi means like it can mean also my office, but this is like my table where I work. Okay.
Like a desk, right?
Sorry.
Desk.
Yes, my
Like a
desk.
desk.
Okay. Continue.
Wa.
Wa. You see here is got wa and okay wa.
Wa. Adawati.
Yes.
Adawati.
Adawati means the things that I use. Okay. Adawati, the things that I use.
Wa.
Wa.
Mala. Bisi.
Don't say say e.
E. Malabisi.
Very good. Have any idea?
Isn't that like jewelry or something? Not jewelry. What's the word I'm thinking of?
You're thinking of mahbas now.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Malabisi is my clothes.
Clothes. That's it.
My clothes.
Yeah.
Now read it again.
Okay. Hold on. Ghurfati. Ghurfati.
Yes.
Biha.
Very good.
Sariri.
Very good.
Wa. Maktabi.
ومكتبي.
Wa.
Wa.
Adawati.
Very good.
Wa. Malabisi. Malabisi.
Malabisi. Please
Malabisi.
listen. There is no in.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know. I always forget.
All right.
Malabisi.
Yossi, you're next.
Yeah.
We're almost finished, so have some more patience.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Ad. Hulu. Tadhulu,
تدخل, which means
Tadhulu
enters for feminine,
enters.
enters.
Um,
Let me add
ash,
something here.
ashi, ashi, uh, tu, ashia,
Now see here, you got a shadda.
ashia,
This has got a shadda.
yeah, ashia, tu, ashiam,
No, no, no. It's not a double vowel. It's a shadda. It's an emphasis.
right. Ashiat,
No, ash'atu.
ashi,
When you have a shadda,
yeah,
you read the letter twice. Once
right.
in sukun, and the next time with the sign with the vowel on top, the vowel that accompanies the shadda. So
Okay.
ash'atu. Okay?
Okay, ashia, a, tu,
Ash'atu.
hatu. Okay. Then al,
By the way, ash'atu is mean raise or
great.
okay, I'll make it.
Al, 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 sham, al, sham, she, si, al, sham, si.
Al-Shamsi. You know what that means? It sounds very much like the Hebrew.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sun?
In Hebrew, we say Shemesh.
Yeah,
Shamsi,
sun.
the sun. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I also want to mention something, okay, just to give you an idea of things we haven't been through. There's something called Otiyot Shemesh, the letters of the sun, the sun letters, okay? Now, what does that mean? The sheen is a sun letter, the sheen.
Yes.
Now, when I'm reading this, you read it in the right manner, al-shamsi, okay? Now, if you have a sun letter after the L, okay, you disregard the lam. And you say ash'atu shamsi. You don't sound the lam, okay? These are, by the way, they are sun letters and they are moon letters, okay? You know, I'm sure it's fun. Okay, so this when you read this, you read
Shamsi.
Shamsi, Shamsi. You don't read this.
Shamsi.
And this is not very necessary. I mean, you can still read it Ash'atul Shamsi, which is okay, fine. Okay, continue.
Okay. This is min.
Okay.
Alna fi di.
Sorry. There's a. Okay, now finding the.
Alna fi di.
No. And fi, continue.
Alna fi da. Alna fi da. Ti.
Very good. Now the whole word.
Al-nafidati.
Fantastic. Very good. Al-nafidati. Do you remember how we talked about this before? What does that mean? Al-nafidati.
Nafidati. Windows.
Window.
No.
Okay, now
Window.
I'll try to
Window.
I'll try
Window.
to explain what you read from the beginning.
Yeah.
تدخل أشعة الشمس, the sun rays enter. Okay, this is the way you form the sentence. تدخل أشعة الشمس من النافذة, through the window.
I got it.
Okay, continue.
وتو كده.
No. The qa has got a kasra.
The guy is the key.
He.
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 Da.
Wa.
Ni. Na.
Very good. Very good.
Idana.
Now try to read the whole word.
Hid. فحيدنا. توفى.
Listen.
البلتي.
Watu.
تو.
He.
He. Dana. Da.
Ni.
Na.
There's
It's
another.
Na. It's a mistake.
No, there's another mistake.
Uh,
Let me see. Now.
to hidani.
وتوقظني. وتوقظني.
وتوقظني.
Which means توقظني wakes me up.
كل
means every.
كل صبيحة.
How did you get صبيحة?
No, صباحي.
Very good.
صباحي.
صباحي. Yeah, fair. Okay. Try to read this from the beginning.
I'll pass on this one. Let's do Let's Nadine read the last.
There's much more where that came from, but listen, I want to let's sum it up. I mean, I'm sure that you're really exhausted. So, but what we had, I want to go back to the things that we discussed today. Okay? We talked about the ta marbuta, and we said that the ta marbuta. Let me see you for a change. Okay. Okay, the ta marbuta comes only at the end of the word, and like it's a hidden ta, and we just disregard it unless it has a vowel. And if it has a vowel, we read it as a regular ta. Okay. Now, whenever there is another letter connected to the word that ends with a ta, we change it into a regular ta. Now, the ta is always a sign of a feminine word, okay? And the way to change a masculine word to a feminine word just by adding the ta marbuta, tilmid, tilmida, muallim, muallima, and so on and so on. But some of the words, the ta marbuta is a part of the word itself. And when you see a word that ends with a ta marbuta, usually it's a sign that it is a feminine word, okay? Now, this is one thing. Now, then we discussed the tanween, and we saw that we have tanween bil fatha. We can call it fathatain, like the two fatha, and tanween bil kasra and tanween bil dhamma. We said that if you have the tanween bil fatha, and then you have to add alif before, okay? Now, what we do, we don't, this alif doesn't make it a double vowel. This is the alif which is used only for having the tanween bil fatha, and we just add the simple vowel, the single vowel, and just to add to it the noon in the new, in the sukoon, قليلا and أهلا وسهلا. It's not أهلان وسهلان. No, it's أهلا وسهلا. The alif there is there just for the double bond. I'm sorry, for the tanween. Now, then we talked about the irregularities sometimes with the alif. Then we have the alif that is hidden and you don't see it, but you should pronounce it in some of the words. And this you have to learn by practice eventually, like hada and hadi and dalika and so on. And sometimes you have an alif at the end of a word, usually almost only in verbs. When we're talking about they, him, hum, they in plural, and you have to add hum ذهبوا, أكلوا, سمعوا, and so on and so forth. At the end of the wa, you have to have an alif. Okay, so just to make sure that we're talking in plural and not in singular. Okay. What else did we talk about? There are many. But the alif maqsura. We said alif maqsura comes only at the end of a word, and only if the letter before it has got a fatha sign. Okay. And if for some reason we have to add another letter after it, then it becomes a regular ya. Okay. Also, we talked about this hamza in the middle of the word. When you have in the beginning of the word, it's not a problem. You just put an alif and put a hamza and put the vowel. It could be a, it could be e, it could be u, no problem. The beginning of a word is not a problem. The problem is in the middle of a word. In the middle of the word, if it's a, you put an alif. It's e, you have to put not a ya, a regular ya. We have to put a ya chair, which looks like a ya. It doesn't have the dots in the bottom. We didn't see by chance any. Sometimes it's u, and you have a chair of wow. It looks exactly like a regular wow, but you don't like it is not a regular wow. It's just there to put the hamza on top of it, and then of course we add the dhamma, so we know it's like ru'us. We have to put a dhamma on the chair of the wow. It doesn't need a chair when it is at the end of a word, like masa al khair. We are saying good night. It's masa. It can sit on on the line. It doesn't need anything. Okay. It's been a great experience for me, really. This is the first time ever that I tried to teach classical Arabic using English. I wrote to you, I didn't have any textbooks. And really, for every lesson, I had to work hard to try to explain the things that we learned. We still have, there is still so much more to learn, of course. And first, like the conjugation of verbs, which we didn't have time to do that, and how to turn a singular word into a double or into a plural. If it's feminine, if it's masculine, there is a world of knowledge that you're supposed to know. Yeah, I usually do that. I told you like twice the time, and still after the end of the year, people still are just beginning. I told you something else in the beginning, I think, of our sessions, that eventually you're not supposed to have vowels at all. Like 99% of all publications in Arabic, like newspapers, books, nobody puts vowels. Just like in Hebrew, Yossi, you don't have nikud, and people have to know how to pronounce the word, because they recognize the word and recognize the way it should be pronounced in the sentence. So people do not put harakat, in publications. And once when we grow older and wiser, maybe we can do that as well. There are many things that rules that you have to learn, and a lot of things will come just by practice. So special thanks to you, Yossi and Nadine. Both of you have been there most of the time, and I appreciate that. You know, I'd rather not just speak for myself in the mirror, and I'm happy that at least you came. I'm sorry that so many others, I think, would have been much more interesting for them to study the
They're
language
lost.
in,
They're lost.
in real time and not just watch the videos. I think it's
Right. Big
boring
difference.
just to watch the video. And anyway, well, I think it's, you know, we are done for that. I don't think that I'm not going to continue. You already have the basic principles, and I would, you know, I would advise very much that you get a book. Try to find one. If you don't, you can ask me. I'll try to help you to find an English book to teach Arabic. You can find things also on YouTube, but I don't like the style. But maybe if you have enough patience, you can. And try to find this virtual keyboard. I told you, Gate to Home. There are so many others as well, but I use that. And if you want to write something to somebody, you can use that and then go copy paste and put it on a Word document and send it and change the style and everything. So thank you again
תודה
for being
רבה.
here.
כל
And
טוב.
goodbye and good luck. And I'm
Thank
here
you.
for you if you need it. I hope the WhatsApp group will still be alive. And if it's not, you can write to me. You have my number, and I'll help you with pleasure.
תודה
So
רבה.
it's been a very difficult, long lesson.
No, it's
And now
okay.
you can relax. You
Yeah.
can,
Okay.
you can have a cigarette or whatever.
No smoking, no smoking.
No smoke. Okay, so
לילה טוב.
goodbye and good
Thank
luck. It was
you.
a real pleasure knowing you.
Thank you.
Same
Bye-bye.
here. Bye. Take care.